Hello. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for attending the October general membership meeting of the one and only Miramar Ski Club. Everybody, please take a deep breath with me right now.
Like meditation.
Silent breath. All right. Okay, Betty. Okay. This is a difficult time for our club.
Because?
Please, can we have quiet? Thank you. The stakes are high because we love this club so much. I want to deal with the elephant in the room or the tiger in the room before we have the actual meeting. First, I want to apologize as your president for reading this room at the last GMM meeting in the best possible light for myself, thinking that we had communicated our plan sufficiently and taken the necessary steps with town halls and requests for participation. Obviously, I was terribly wrong, and I am deeply sorry, and I promise to do better. Second, on the Labor Day trip, I understand the shock of seeing the old bar removed and placed temporarily on a different wall, while the new imposing half-finished structure blocks the view of the rec room. I failed to appreciate the hurt and pain and loss of control felt by many members. I saw that turn into anger, hate, as I witnessed incredible disrespect towards the two people who devoted huge amounts of time and energy in the past 2 years for the club. Hurt creates more hurt on both sides. It continued during the 2 fall board meetings, and it's sitting right here, right now. I honestly don't know how to move us off this precipice. Patience is needed by all of us, and I am speaking to myself as much as anybody else. It will take time and commitment to rebuild the trust that has been lost, and I apologize for that. I ask that we move forward with as much kindness and consideration as we can muster and realize that we have the same goal in mind, making Miramar whole again. There will be plenty of time after the presentations to discuss whatever you have on your mind. So, are we ready to move forward? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the April 23rd, 2025 GMM? Hi. Got a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? It sounds like it's unanimous. Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda? Second?
Better typos.
Yeah. All in favor of the agenda? All opposed? All abstention? Thank you. Okay, so first I want to thank Gail Tusman again for providing this great space, and her helpers, Renata Tenenbaum, Wendy Shepard, and Ann Robbins. Again. I want to thank the board, Elizabeth Ernish, Steve Questori, Hildegard Manhattan, George. I never say the last name. Jim Shanahan, John Rizzuto, Sean Brand, and Kirsty Jardine. Kirsty has stepped down due to unexpected and significant demands from her in her first professional life. I thank her for her willingness to join the board in the first place, because I knew she was very busy. We will miss her. We worked very well together. Special thanks to Aunt Janice Gross, who, as Omnibus person, has devoted more time than usual and has taken some abuse for the club. I thank you for your service, Janice. Okay, on to the president's report. My ongoing mission to make Miramar more of a year-round club continues. Working with Kalinka and the Summer Trip Committee, I've launched the hiking task force for fall and winter hikes in the tri-state area to recruit new skiers who understand that there are other ways to go up a mountain than on a chairlift and down a mountain on skis. I've led 4 hikes this fall. In Wood Hill to start nearby, right up top of the part of the Manhattan, or Tryon. Mount Taurus, which I think I have pictures for. Anthony's Nose. Can you hit that? Because it's not working. Claudius Smith's Den. Oh yeah, it's one. And where am I? A total of 60 hikers, more than 60 hikers, and many were non-members. Plus last week, led by Luis Diaz, Mount Beacon, with 14 hikers. 2 more hikes are planned. G-Town next weekend, November 1st. And I'll be leading that. Camp Pouch in Staten Island on November 15th, which will be led by Elizabeth Ernish. Thank you, Elizabeth. I hope to get a full slate of Saturday hikes ready for next spring, so we have time to really publicize them and attract more non-members. That's our whole point, is to get more people from Meetup to join. It's worked pretty well, but the numbers aren't that great. 4 or 5 new people at each hike. With that, let's start with the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Great hikes.
Do you want to see?
All right, well, I just give you guys a treasurer's report, and I don't know if you've read my report, and I think some of you may know what I have to say. Miramar is in great financial condition. We are amazing, perhaps the best financial condition in history of the club, certainly in decades. So I got my slideshow to Tom a little bit late, so he's still going through that. But yes, for last year, the fiscal year 2025, we have a surplus of almost $50,000. Now, that's not only due to greater trip attendance, but it's also due to very good fiscal management by the board and my financial team. So we have kept to our budgets. We have budgets. We have kept to our budgets. And we have managed the money so much so that we now have, and we held on to that $50,000. We now have about $60,000 in our bank account, and we are doing so well that I will be able to take 30,000 of that and put it in our reserve account. Something again that has not been done in decades. So we'll be adding to that. We've had the same $111,000 in our savings account since, I mean, records go back on the club. So that account is now in a brokerage account that's earning us interest to the tune of, so since April, over to about $2,000, over $2,000. So things are going very, very well. So we have healthy reserves, and that's due not only to the success of our trips, but to the financial management that we are displaying. Thank you, Winnie. So I want to begin by
That's not gonna work on these.
okay, so yeah, next slide. I want to begin by introducing our finance team. So there's Amy Smitherman, who has been with us for a long time and is very accomplished. She's the assistant treasurer. She's been over 25 years in nonprofit financial management, including CFO roles. She has managed nonprofits, both small like us, well, usually not as small as us, and both, multi-million-dollar nonprofits. So, she has a ton of experience in this area. We also have Aaron Stern. Please stand up, Aaron. And let's have a hand for him. Aaron is new on the team, and he's done a lot of heavy lifting for us. He was able to get our books finally in order. If you recall, not too long ago, I was up here and I was telling you, oh, we have to hire a bookkeeper because, people could quit it. We had people sign up. We had people in our bank accounts and quit. So we had a lot of false starts and took a lot of time. And fortunately, we have Aaron. And now Aaron is 40 years of the New York Transit Office of Management and Budget, former Treasurer and Finance Administration Committee for his church, where he did the same magic for them that he's done for us. And then it's Alan Bukamal.
It means perfect in Arabic.
Oh, and how good.
Oh.
So Alan is another financial secretary. He's been at BlackRock for 13 years, a software engineer, and has a very strong background. I must apologize to Alan because we have not been able to utilize him fully since we've been focused on managing the books. But now that our books are clean, we can move forward onto other projects, and we'll be transitioning Alan to other responsibilities. And talking about restoring the books, and Aaron's going to speak about this a little bit when he gets up. Many of you may or may not know that our last treasurer left the club and did not turn over bank accounts, our QuickBooks, any of our logins. We were completely left in the lurch. And that took us a long time to claw back, and we're still clawing back some. So now if we go on to the next slide. Okay. So I think it makes sense. No, there's one. Yeah, two parts. One back. Yep. I think it makes sense at this point to really speak about Amy Smitherman and what she's done for the club and what she continues to do for the club. Amy, for the longest time before Alan and Aaron came on board, handled everything. And when I say everything, filing our 1099s, handling the tax returns, responding to inquiries, processing payroll, paying vendors, managing cash flow, categorizing, our QuickBooks, managing the bus contracts. She also buys our lift tickets with her personal credit card so we can get discounts from Killington. She does that on her own personal Killington account. And she also is in charge of all of her insurances. So Amy, and I don't think she's on this call yet, but I wish she was because I think she deserves a round of applause because she's helped this club together, held this club together for a long time. Next slide. Okay, so if you look in your materials, I put through a budget versus actual. So we put together a budget in 2024 2025, if you recall, at one of the past meetings, I wasn't able to put together a budget because the books were in such disarray that it would just, been impossible. I wanted to go transaction by transaction, which I had actually done in 2023, and it took me about 60 hours, but I wasn't willing to do that again this year. So we just carried the budget over from 2023 to 2024 to 2025. And if you look at materials, there are the budgets, and what the budget tells you versus the actual of what happened, and this is why really we are in such good financial place. That the revenue came in over what I projected by quite a bit. Expenses came down, especially, I mean, a lot of expenses came up. Inflation is hard, especially our utility bills are hard. They've come up a lot. The one area where we made a lot of improvement is that Jim in operations came in significantly under budget, like $25,000 under budget. So that has helped a lot. So, the surpluses are not only due to the higher participation, but because we've been managing things appropriately and not wasting that money. So we've been able to retain that $50,000 of profit. So before Aaron gets up, I wanted to say something else. And I probably shouldn't say this.
Just say it.
I'll say it.
Trip prices and dues will remain the same this year. It doesn't have board approval yet, though, but that's what I'm recommending, and I think Anna agrees. So I hope you're happy with that, and with that, I'm gonna turn the mic over to Aaron, who's gonna discuss the financials, the financial analysis here. Yeah, come up here.
Hello, everyone. So I'm gonna start with the fiscal 25. As Steve mentioned, it was an excellent year for the club with 48,000 of net income, which was 100% up from the 23,000 in the previous year, fiscal 24. So as a result of that excellent performance, the club's net financial position increased from 210,000 to 258,000 as of the end of fiscal 25. So the reason for that good performance, total income in fiscal 25 was 362,000, which was up 11% from the previous year. Operating income increased by 34,000, 12%. Dues increased by 6,000, 15%, reflecting stable membership on that 15% dues hike. But I think more significantly, in terms of where the club is at, trip fees increased by 28,000, 12%, reflecting higher attendance. So I think that's like an awesome result of all the work that's been done, like the advertising and the other efforts to get more people to come. So the other side of the financial, the income statement, of course, are the expenses. So while the income was up 11%, the operating expenses only increased by 4%. And that's why the net income increased that much. So lodge expenses increased by 5,000, just 5%, and trip expenses increased by 6,000, also just 4%. So a few key items. I think one of the best ones was that housekeeping and kitchen payroll decreased by 4,500 and 5,700 respectively, so about $10,000. That reflects the hiring of Nat Casada as the new permanent chef and handyman, which seems to be working out well and saved us a lot of money compared to the catering experiments that were in place in the previous year. In addition, insurance expense decreased by 300, and anyone who's in this market knows insurance has been going up very by double digits year over year, the past 40 years. So to get a flat number for the property insurance was terrific. And that was really due to Amy shifting the method of our payment. So now we're paying the premium as a lump sum on the renewal date rather than in equal monthly installments. So you get a significant discount when you do that. So the repairs and maintenance was slightly reduced. It was 42,000 in fiscal 25, down 2,000 from the previous year. And I just wanted to add that, given the concern in this area, it's been pretty consistent over the years. I went back and looked. In fiscal 23, it was 43,000, so essentially almost exactly the same number. And fiscal 22 was 53,000. So it's been a pretty consistent spend in this repairs and maintenance area. As Steve mentioned, we had some costs that went up significantly, utilities. That was due to the heating cost. And the bus expense went up 15%. So I think that's pretty much it for fiscal 25. So now I'm going to shift over to fiscal 26, September year to date. Net income is minus 49,000, which is fairly consistent with the fact that there's very little income at this point in the year. It's about 20,000 worse than last year. So one data point just to bear in mind, this year, for the first time, we ran a bus trip in the summer, which didn't quite break even. So that was part of why the club went a little negative, on that. And in addition, we had some slightly greater repairs and maintenance over the summer, about 5,000 more than we had in the same period last year. So that's it for September year to date. So Steve had asked me to make some presentation on the books, the cleanup of the books. I didn't have time to do that, but I thought I could just give you maybe 3 or 4 highlights to just say what was done. So essentially, we restructured the financial statement categorization to basically put the most important elements of the financial plan first. So that's the operating income and the operating expenses. We eliminated a lot of redundant accounts. One thing I think that's a little bit problematic is that in QuickBooks, it's incredibly easy to add categories. It's like if you don't know what you think it is, or you're not sure, it's very easy just to put in a new one. So there was a fair number, there was a little bit of a proliferation, and we got rid of most of that. You might see if you look at the detailed report, we're not completely done with that effort. A good example, we have food and we have groceries. This would be known as a distinction without a difference. We did a fair amount of work correcting expense categorizations so that we could see more accurately what the true, both the true amounts were and the year-over-year changes. I had to do a lot of work on the income side. One of the issues that we had is that back in December, the club implemented new software, this Akadai Stripe interface, which allows for the automated insertion of Stripe transactions into the QuickBooks software. But it hasn't worked perfectly. So in other words, the categorization that we get isn't exactly right. So like a good example is if you look in the September detail, you'll see that most of the income is uncategorized, and yet obviously we know most of the income is for summer trips, obviously. Um, uh, in particular, one of the problems that I uncovered was that when it was set up, the way the software was initialized in terms of the treatment of the fees, the Stripe fees, wasn't quite right, and so it wasn't being expensed as it should have been. It was building up on the balance sheet. So I fixed that back in June. So the good news is I had to correct it by journal entry for fiscal 25, but going forward, the automatic system is now recording it correctly. So I just wanted to add one other few other comments about it. So the first thing is when you're doing a cleanup like this, the single most important thing is that you tie to the fundamental asset accounts. So in other words, the single most important thing to know that your books are basically in order is that your accounting software ties in with what I call the fundamental accounts, which would be the Chase checking account, the investment account, and the Stripe holding. That's really where the actual money of the club resides. So it's like a red flag if that doesn't agree with the accounting software. So that all totally ties in. There were some old entries on the balance sheet that had to be cleaned up. I guess, to some extent, there might have been some things that were forgotten about, but they didn't materially impact the results. And then finally, I added some accruals to correct for the timing of some of our income and expense items. So the value of doing that is you end up with a more accurate statement of your true results. So as a perfect example, Steve mentioned Amy buys lift tickets in the spring to get the discounted price. So that's cash out the door that happens in like April. But obviously that expense of the lift tickets belongs in the upcoming fiscal year during ski season. Like that's when those lift tickets will actually be used. So rather than reporting it as an expense in fiscal 25, it shows on the balance sheet as a prepaid expense, and then it gets expensed out in the period that it belongs to. Another item that's like that is we've had some delays in actually getting our big trip income deposited. But again, we want the income to be reflected in our results in the year the trip actually occurred. So, for example, the trip this year, which happened back in the winter, the actual money for that trip was only deposited October 1st. But I reflected that in the fiscal 25 results as deferred revenue, and then obviously next month it'll just be a transfer on the sheet. Okay. That's all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy spending time?
No, she wasn't. I don't think so.
Okay,
Amy, are you on? Amy Smitherman?
Amy, you there?
Amy, are you there?
Okay.
Sorry.
She has an important.
Yeah, so I was hoping Amy Smither would be here. Because she was gonna be participating in this portion of it, but I'll move ahead and I might pause until Amy gets back on. As Robin said, she has another board meeting where she's the accountant and CFO, I'm sorry, because she's the CFO of the nonprofit. And she doesn't think it'll be that long. She said she was hoping to get here by 7:30 or so. But I will proceed with what I can proceed with, and then I will pause and hand it over, and then you're gonna see me again. Okay, So, we had, in this section, I want to talk about, questions and concerns of the membership. So we had been asked, or I've been asked to provide a breakdown of what the renovations have cost us, and that's what I have here. In 21 to 23, we spent about $35,000 on the dining room renovations, and we spent about $65,000 on the lodge renovations. In 2024, we spent about $1,500 clearing out clearing out trees that were part of an existing or larger maintenance project of clearing out dead trees and trees that were at risk of falling on our lodge. So in clearing out trees in the back of the property, we just added on a little bit. And the way it works with these guys is you pay a lot to get them there. There's sort of a minimum, and then any additional work they do costs relatively little. So by doing that, we were able to save a lot of money by combining with the project. We did the same thing in 2025 with the excavation work. By that, I mean clearing out the land, clearing out the big, if you're walking back to the right where there are those two fields on either side of the bridge, were infested with ferns. So to clear those out on existing excavation projects that were like expanding the parking lot, that were clearing, dealing with our drainage issues, we spent about $4,000, and the bridge that were part of those series of projects cost an additional approximately $3,500. And then finally in 2026, so far relocating the shed cost $3,500 in the, moving it and the materials, the gravel underneath it. It's important for me to note to you that these were all within the board approved budgets that lodge operations had. It wasn't outside of any budget. It was within the budget. And in fact, Jim is still under budget for this year as he was for the last year. So this is not something that is unbudgeted for. Okay. So now the next slide. Okay, so this is something that I'm gonna go over briefly, but I want Amy Smitherman to weigh in on this, especially if there are questions, because she worked much more transversal in this. There were some questions about, our financial, our transparency. So in terms of transparency, as I have tonight, at every single general membership meeting, I have presented financial reports in excess of what's required of me by the bylaws and the law. So every single meeting, I present profit and loss, balance sheet, last fiscal year, year to date, and then typically some other things. If we're talking about budgeting, there was a meeting where I presented what the budget would be and my analysis of the budget. And this year I did the balance sheet to actual comparison. And, we are trying to be transparent. And every single general membership meeting, we provide these records to the entire membership, and they are available online.
It's just not true.
Oh, no, they will be available online. Yes, we did. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I just found it. Yeah. All right.
See here,
Yes.
as far as I know, the balance sheet, P&L, and all those have never been posted on the public website.
Okay, I don't know why. That's the responsibility of the secretary, and I'm the treasurer.
How
So, I'm sorry.
your financial report for today is on the website. I put it on this.
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you.
That's of all those, that's the only one that's on the website.
Okay, I do not know why they are not on the website.
I've never been.
Yeah, it should be part of the minutes. Yes.
That is the last. I am 99% sure that he did provide a financial report like this,
Mhm.
but the books and record financial reports were not available. You said it would be published on the.
Yeah, so I'll clear that up. Up until my conversation with Anna today, my belief was that they were on the website. That's the responsibility of the secretary, who when I was there was Kalinka, so, I do not know why those were not published. But let's move on now.
I have a question.
Well, I'm not taking questions right now, because let me get through my presentation. I may answer your questions, and there will be time for questions when we're all done. What? Yeah.
Minutes of the meetings are on the website.
Yes.
If they're included in the minutes, then they're already on the website. Not
Yes.
aware.
But the
Um,
financials are not in those minutes. I opened many of them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, just to be clear, I have provided them. I am not in charge of the minutes, I am not in charge of who posts them, that would be with the secretary. So,
You do review the minutes, because like we just voted them in, so for example, my membership report.
let me just finish my presentation, okay, I said there'd be time for questions after. So let's just move on and we can have a discussion once I'm done with my presentation, okay? Otherwise, we're never gonna move forward. Okay. So, the important bullet points are, and I know Amy Smitherman discussed this more, but just as a spoiler alert. We have paid sales taxes, we have always paid sales taxes, there's an issue with the sales tax from 2024, we only pay sales tax on our dues. So they only become, relevant in December of the year when all the dues are in. And we have paid those dues. There's an issue with 2024 in that the prior treasurer still has control of our online account. And she is not giving it up. New York State is aware of this. Amy's been in touch with New York State, and they are closing out that account and opening up a new account. So that situation is handled. I'll let Amy speak to a little bit more about that, because she's, taking care of it. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, and now here's something I do want to speak to. There's been a lot of talk about this board resolution. Authorizing a board director liaison, the treasurer and the president. To authorize up to $5,000 in spending. This per month, yes. This was done to expedite things, and it has made some necessary projects move very quickly. In where, if anyone remembers the old executive committee, nothing got done. So with that, Jim was able to make a lot of repairs to the lodge and a lot of necessary improvements. But maybe things have moved too fast. Obviously, things have moved too fast for the comfort of many members. So I think the board would agree with me that from this point forward, I am not authorizing any spending under that resolution until the board can get together and come up with some better plan. Because obviously the feedback we're getting, and we want to get your feedback, we are listening to you and we're open to it. And we're responsive to it, so we will cease doing that from here on out until the board gets back together and comes up with a better solution.
Let's have the questions up.
But
Does that include central maintenance projects?
everything,
People online can hear these questions, repeat them or not.
yeah, well, then again, can we just hold questions until the end, okay? Because otherwise, we're just gonna, keep stepping on each other. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, all right, I'm actually gonna stop here, and wait for Amy to come back. Because we have some more to speak about that I'd like to address.
Okay, Margaret online has a question.
Okay, can we hold
Margaret?
that, or?
Margaret?
Yeah,
Is it okay, time for questions now?
no, because let's wait till Amy gets here, because she's gonna be able to answer some of these questions.
It's not about Amy.
They're not Amy questions, they're Steve questions.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's hold all questions, because otherwise, if we're asking questions, everybody's gonna ask. Everybody's right to ask questions.
Finish the presentation.
Yes, so I'm gonna pause my presentation right now, wait until Amy Smitherman gets online, and then we'll continue and answer all of your questions.
Steve, these are questions just following what you just said.
Okay. You have to put questions in? Yeah,
He has to go soon, so we.
yeah, so why don't I hand it off to Jim? I'm sure you'll have questions for him. And what? Yeah, and then there'll be time for questions. I'm not leaving. There'll be time for questions later. Okay.
You're staying.
Yes. Good evening all.
Well, it remains to be seen.
This is my busy season at work, and I'm literally going back to work after this. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Pat McGillicuddy. Let's give a hand to Pat. Pat's support of the lodge has been endless for years. She's stepping down from supporting the lodge day to day, starting November 1st. She is willing to train people. That means you. So please think about helping out at the lodge, for the lodge, either on the maintenance team with Regina or special projects. Whatever you'd like to do, there is a way to help. Thank you. But again, Pat, we appreciate your time. And always a special thanks to Regina. The really good news is, Tom, were you able to show those pictures? So as we speak this week, new carpeting is going in the stairs, the upper hallway. Let's see what we have here. So Regina, have you even seen these yet? I just got Matt to send them to me about 15 minutes ago. There you go.
Got the old one.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a new park.
Is that the new carpet?
Got the old
I
one.
don't know. Regina, is that the new carpet? You pick the color.
Oh, maybe it is.
Oh, that looks new.
That's
It's a very thin carpet. There we go. Sign it over. So everybody realizes how difficult it is to get things done at the lodge sometimes. This project started over 2 years ago, Pat. I took it over for a year and then I gave it to Regina and she finally landed it. This is how guys have to get literally took years. And all the prices do is go up. So it's absolutely crazy. So that's the good news. Work weekends, so far we've ran 7 this year. If you were on one, thank you. If you haven't been on a work weekend in a few years, it's time to come up. Even our president ran one this year. Thank you, Doctor. Projects that are on deck right now, we have a new floor going into the boot room. We have to replace some rotted wood in the quiet room. We want to actually renovate the quiet room completely. The front and the back steps are rotting and falling apart. Lodge exterior painting is overdue. A lot of the work weekends were wet, so we couldn't get a lot of the outside painting done. And the topic of conversation for years for me has been the alarm system. It's a very big expense. Bill Bernstein is going to be taking that on as a project. So all these events they need leadership. And so if you want to stop and think about how you would like to take on any project you think is of value at the club, please just raise your hand and we'll take it from there. Again, I have about 15 minutes before I have to leave, so I'm going to turn it back to Steve.
Oh, you want me to have any questions?
Any questions?
You need them. She arrived.
No, yeah, no problem.
No.
Oh.
Amy Smitherman, are you online?
And any questions for Jim before we pass it over to
Jody?
Okay, can we have 2 mics, right? So could we pass it back?
Yeah.
We're on the line for here.
It's on.
Okay, thank you.
No.
I just want to say thank you to the board. Thank you to Robin for addressing the issue in the room. I think that was really appropriate and sensitive, and I personally appreciate it. And thank you, so just thank you all around. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Steve. Amy's not here yet. I guess my quick question about these list of projects that are coming up, is there like a budgeting process where we know what the expected cost of these projects are? Because when we think about how much money is sitting in the bank, what the projects are for necessary items, to then be able to talk about discretionary items. Again, I don't know how the budgeting process works. Is that something that is shared with membership?
Some yes, some no. For instance, the floor.
Some are shared, some not shared, or some are budgeted?
Some are budgeted and some are not budgeted. Because what we need are leaders to lead the project. Like we've been kicking around the alarm system for two, maybe 3 years now. 3 years. I remember one point Robin and Bill looked into it and it was a $35,000 bill. When we had the last report that showed how bad our alarm system is, then what did we do is I had the guy on the phone. I just said, why don't you just requote doing the whole thing just so we have it? If that was 2 months ago, there's still no quote. So it depends on the project and who's the leader of the project and the size and how much it costs.
The contract.
That's helpful. Is there a process that the board uses to put projects in like triage order, to wait to get a leader for a project so it can be budgeted and planned accordingly for necessary projects before elective projects move up in the process.
There are no leaders, that's the problem. So we usually do triage and do things, there are no leaders. There are none, we have Pat and Regina stepping up for years to do things. And I stand here and say, who wants to lead a project? And it's just like now, crickets.
It's different than that, Jim. You normally you have a property and you plan for how long is the roof gonna last? How long is the
Oh,
carpet?
no, we started those conversations.
Gonna last.
So we started those conversations.
According to that?
Yeah, no, like right now, my concern is the alarm system because we're in our 20th year of a 20-year life. The roof's about 15 years into a supposed 20-year life, but we've had 5 panels fly off the roof. So, but Pat and Regina and I talk about what we think is the next smart moves to do, but please.
Just a quickie. So when I was on the board and Wise was on the board, we kind of subdivided lodge operations into maintenance and renovations. And really maintenance takes people with a history in the building, and we confer with people like Bill and Jim and the Gene Brennan, the people who are on lodge operations for years. So we know the history, we have things written down, we have a process, and if it's a maintenance thing, it kind of has to be fixed, like the boiler, a roof, right? That doesn't take a team of creative thinkers, it takes people who can fix things, and that needs to be done in a timely way. That's why the board liaison has this discretionary spending so that we can get it done when the contractor is like, we need to get it done in the spring or whatever. But then there's renovations, and that's a horse of a different color, and that takes, a community support, a committee and a leader, and then you come up with a budget, just like any committee, that sort of thing. So there are two sides to that story. Does that help?
Yeah, that's really helpful. And just in closing, I guess my question then is, can there be a motion or an amendment or something that elected projects, which may have people's passion involved, are not preceded by this kind of lodge preparation planning that Ann is talking about? Like, there's a property, how long is left of the boiler, how much would it cost to fix it, all that planning before we do amazing passion projects that we would all enjoy, but then get hit with an assessment when the boiler breaks or the roof caves in because it hasn't been planned in triage order?
Yeah, okay, let me address that a little bit, because passion projects are not necessarily passion projects. My mission is to make this a year-round event, club. And Nyla died at least 10 or 15 years ago, and her estate has what? How many? 9 years, okay. And we are supposed to use that $10,000, and I'm determined to either use it or send it back to the family. And same with Stan Greenwald. And I guess we gave Barbara Goldberg's to the Huntley. But we have an obligation to use that money. And it's not enough money to actually do the projects, but those projects are not just, frivolous projects. We need to either do them or send money back.
But there are other questions? Other questions? Just a clarification. When Nyla's project was extremely specific, but Stan's saying he wants to upgrade the lounge is very wide open and has a lot to discuss. So they're very different projects. Is there a question? No,
Yeah.
it was just a clarification.
Should we move on? Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
I had a question. I've had my hand up.
Holy fuck, that's me. I'm not sure, I'm gonna go over here by this pole, so I don't want anybody else, you guys can say hello. I'm not sure who this goes to, but I guess with the lodge operations and stuff, I know we've done a lot of great work with the outdoor space of the lodge, and I gotta say, it's been awesome in the summer of the last 2 years, so like kudos to you guys for that, like big round of applause there. Okay, no applause, fine, there we go, thank you very much. But I'm more just curious, I know in your process, like, obviously, we're planning things out, we're trying to budget, we're getting committees together and all of those, but I just am curious, are we somewhere in that process, are we making sure that things are up to code, or we're getting, everything is done like legally, or there's permits? Cause like I understand that we moved that bike shed and apparently it can't be there, so now we have to move it again?
Yeah, I guess I'll take that one. Yeah, I guess I'll start off by saying Vermont. So here's the story with the bike shed. And I wish I took Philip on his offer to just destroy the thing and bought something from Home Depot. But I did want to respect all the work that went into it and also honor the memory of Al Taylor. So I didn't want to destroy it. Before moving the shed, I got in touch with JB Weir, who's the town zoning administrator. I said to JB, like, this is what I'm gonna do. I have the shed, I wanna move it. But I can't put it the required 25 feet from the property line because we have a leach field. So I could put it like about 18 feet or so, 15 feet. And he was like, yes, Steve, no problem. We have your permit for that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, yeah, as long as you don't put it in the flood zone, then just nestle it behind the lodge and put it in there and you're gonna be all good. You don't need a permit. So we move it. And lo and behold, our neighbor, and that's my fault, I should have spoken to her, I know her now, pretty, well, at least on a daily basis. But she's very nice, she's very, very nice. But she calls up JB, because this is a small town, and that's what they did, they call each other up. She's like, JB, what's happening to the property next door? He's like, oh, yeah, no, they said they were gonna move the shed. She's like, oh, no, we didn't told that, that's, it's big. And even though JD had the dimensions of it and had the permit showing what it was, and I gave him the dimensions, he gives me a call on my drive back home from supervising the move. Saying, Steve, what's going on? The shed, the neighbor called, she's concerned about the shed, that it's close to the property line. I'm like, yeah, JD, we discussed this. I was like, you said it was okay. He's like, oh, I don't know, maybe we have to go back. So I turn around my car. I go back to Vermont, stay there another couple of days, meet with JB, and JB's like, well, it's kind of like, we're going through all the options. And I'm like, look, JB, let's just do this the right way. And we'll get a variance from the town board, and we'll be legitimate. So I did that. I put in all the paperwork. I met with the board, the town zoning board twice, and they granted our permit. But we still have to move the shed about 5 feet. That's what it comes down to. We don't have to be the 25 feet required, but it has to be 5 feet. So we have plans to do that, and that's the story with the shed. Go, Pepper.
What is JB's address?
Well, I asked to help him if he'd help me lift the shed. Bill.
What is the budget for finishing the outside work and for closing?
Well, we have stopped work because the other thing, our contractor, is Jason Dunbar. He gave us a quote for finishing that well, he said he couldn't abide by his original estimate because material costs go up and blah, 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 blah. So we're stopping with him. And we're gonna explore other options now. We're also downsizing the project because prices have gone up from what we originally anticipated.
So there will be a budget before it goes ahead?
Oh, yeah. We had a budget for it. We had an estimate and everything.
Because I don't recall seeing in any of the financials for a year ago, any budget for outside work or moving the gazebo or anything like that.
Well, we don't have specific, I'm not sure what you're referring to with budget. We have a budget with line item amounts, right? So we have a budget for large operations. And then within that budget, we budget specific projects to move forward, to make sure that they're cost effective. We don't just go like, hey, don't do that.
I don't think we as the members have seen any of that with respect to the outside work as an example.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, the bylaws, and I never liked the bylaws, and knows I didn't vote for them, but the bylaws do not require us to put any of that before the general membership.
They don't restrict it.
No, well, but they don't require it. But
They don't stop you.
they don't stop you, but hey, look, our board minutes are open to the public, so open to the membership, so
So the cost of 3,500 to move it, is it gonna cost another 3,500
No,
to move it
No.
5 feet?
it's gonna cost like about $900, which we still have money on account with him, so it's not money coming out of, you know. It was money already budgeted for the project.
There's another question.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the gazebo, because I actually have watched the recordings of the two meetings that you had with the planning commission in Vermont, and
Yeah.
the way that those played out seemed different to me than the way you just described it. First of all, they were treating it as a new project, a new structure, so saying, well, you had the permit before, so this counts. I didn't get the impression that the Waitsfield zoning development board was treating this as a movement. They were treating it as a new structure. But also, it seemed to be that their issue was that you moved it to the property line.
No, it wasn't moved to, it's about 15 feet off the property line. Now, currently, we're going to move it to 20 feet. We have actually, 20 feet, we probably go to 23.
Like there's probably a setback.
Yeah, there's a 25-foot setback.
And so what you're saying, so just to clarify, so what you're saying is that you had informal approval from the town. You called up the town and said, yep, you could move it there, no problem. And then after you moved it, the town came back and said, actually, that violates zoning rules, when they had told you that it was fine.
Correct, the same person, not just the town, JB Ware, who's the zoning administrator for Waitsfield.
Go get a zoning variance, you gotta notify every.
Yeah, we had to go through that. We have a lot of neighbors.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the agenda, let's take another.
Just a really quick, logistics, will that, when that shed gets moved to 5 feet, will it have to be taken apart?
No.
Okay, because we have the firewood
Yes.
stored on it right now. And when will this move
Sorry.
take place? Because we're getting a cord of wood delivered on November 14th.
Yes, I am aware, and just to answer your question quickly, hopefully Jason, I just spoke with him today, is gonna be able to move it by the end of the month. I told him he had to move it by November 12th, and we have plans for, that wood, but that wood is gonna have to come, yes, okay. Okay, anyone else? All right.
Yeah, I have a question. I've been waiting. Hello?
Yeah, Margaret, you have a question about treasurer question, but we're waiting for Amy, right?
We've moved for that. No, don't worry. I have a question for Steve, please. Steve, you just said about triaging, and you said it's effectively your decision, I guess, or the board's decision. I think it was 2 board meetings ago, there was quite a lot of concern expressed about the state of the fire system, the fire alarm system, and I think Jim's raised that again today. How did you decide in your triaging that having all the work done on the outside, or a new bar, or anything like that would be of use if basically the fire alarm system didn't work and we didn't even have a lodge to use?
Yeah. Let me just
What was
answer
your
that.
rationale for not spending money?
Okay, yes, I understand your question. The answer to that is that we have the money for the fire alarm system set aside. So that it wouldn't have been affected by any of these projects. We have the money set aside. I specifically budgeted for that. Although I must say that the board has in the past voted down replacing the fire alarm system for a couple of years.
But at the
So I've had a
last
couple of years to
meeting,
actually prepare and put the money aside.
at the last meeting, Jim asked for a
And Jim.
budget for it and then withdrew it because the board asked him
I
for
have
an
asked
actual
at least
budget
three-
rather than just a piece of money.
I have asked the board at least 3 times to approve a $35,000 expenditure. The reason why I wanted approved before people waste their time trying to triple bid a project. Because we've gone down this road before and all we do is waste time. We might as well get the budget approved. We know it's gonna be around $35,000. Get it approved and then go down the path. We're at our 20th year for a 20-year lifespan. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than this, but again, the board has not approved it, but this is so typical. So, I mean, it took us to the point where our stove was on its last leg and only half of it worked before we replaced that. So this is, I say kicking the can down the road is the Miramar way. Anything to do not to engage big projects like that. That's just my opinion. I've been doing the lodge for 3 years.
So you'd actually like the board to approve the budget, but they didn't at the last board meeting. Okay, does that not worry you?
Okay, there's one other thing. Thank you, Pat. This is such a great point. I sent this to the board a couple of weeks ago. In the last 5 years, we've spent $12,000 fixing the alarm system in 5 years. Now, let's just say that 4,000 of that is normal maintenance, and the rest of it is because everything is so old that we must continue to repair it when we're on our 20th year. So if we keep kicking the can down the road and we have to spend another $3,000, $4,000 every year to repair something, that will continue to break down. Because it's 20
So we
years old.
prioritize doing the outside clearing and a new bar over a working fire system, you're saying?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that I've been trying to get the alarm system repaired for years. Thank you. Okay, so we're moving on for the moment to.
I have one more question on that issue. I don't know how the existing fire system works, and I don't know what is required by code, but to the extent that it's not functioning properly or is on the verge of failing, do we have smoke alarms in the rooms in the lodge, apart from an overall system?
The alarm system is functional, period. We are in code, it is completely functional. They test it once a week. We have an alarm company, and whether we have a monitoring company. So it's literally tested every week to make sure it works. And if it doesn't work, they get told what's wrong and we get told what's wrong. And so then we act on it. But even when something's wrong, we've had a month go by before they get it fixed. So that's just the nature of Vermont.
Yeah.
Could you just be clear on which alarm system, because I understand we had like an entry alarm if something comes in, and we just don't.
Okay. The entry alarm system has been defunct for years. We do not have one. There is no alarm on the building. We have a fire alarm system that monitors every room. That is what we're speaking of today. And then we also have a fire extinguisher system that it gets checked once a year and hopefully we never use it.
I'm just curious about, you said it's tested every week. Way back, every trip, there was a fire drill and it was tested to make sure the signal was going through and they hear it and that people know to go to the exit doors. How is it being tested?
Just through the phone lines. They check to make sure everything's operational.
It's the monitoring system.
Yeah, it's a monitoring system. There's like an 800 number. It's 24 hours, 7 monitored. They'll call the Waitsfield Fire Department, et cetera, et cetera.
Who calls, who sets the alarm so they, when it's on, it goes off, they know, they can confirm that they got the message.
So historically, and we just changed this, they would call the lodge, and let's say somebody in this room happened to be walking by the phone and picked it up. Said, hey, is there a fire? And they looked around and said, no. They wouldn't do anything further. They wouldn't even tell anybody in lodge operations that happened. So we didn't even know that we had a fault. So we recently changed that to make sure they email me and tell me that there is a fault and tell me where the fault is. So then I call our alarm company to make sure that they have somebody in there. 2 or 3 weeks later, they might show up.
You're saying they can test it without us setting the alarm off?
Correct.
Life, you're up.
Thank you. Not much happens with membership over the summer, and I gave a long presentation last year. So how about we make this really brief? Miramar currently has, can you hear me? Should I go away?
Yeah.
Sorry. Away from you. Okay. Miramar has 175 regular members, 37 associate members, 8 gold members, and 9 platinum members. We had a few more joined over the summer. So we added 31 new members, which is the largest class on record this past year. And we lost 18 members last year. That is my report. Does anyone have any questions? Gail.
Do any like exit to find out what were the circumstances that people dropped out?
18 is below average.
Find out, did they move away, did they?
Yeah, the most common is that they moved away and then the second most common is that they had a change in life circumstance such that they no longer ski. And that's pretty typical. So, again, we have records going back to 2010, and on average, we lose 20 members a year. So that's just, life happens.
When you're done.
Nothing more.
Anything else? Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Clay. There's one more question.
Okay, Margaret, go for it. Margaret online, go ahead.
Thanks. No, I just had a few more questions for the lodge operations, because that's quite important for us. And I think it's been raised earlier about the electrician, if Joan could just confirm that all the electrical work has been done by certified electricians, and also that you did check about the potential asbestos in the flooring before you started ripping up the flooring for the new bar. So that was just one of my questions. But also, I wondered if you could share with us, because we haven't seen it, and at the board meeting in September, you said you didn't have one, what your actual budget was for the work on the bar. And if it was coming out of this bequest, which I understand was $10,000, were you going to use all of that? Was that going to be sufficient? Were you going to ask the board or the members for more money? Or was this just going to come out of your $5,000 a month sort of running total?
Are we doing bar questions tonight, or are we gonna hold this for the meeting coming up?
No, I think this is relevant to this particular meeting, actually, because this is work that's been done rather than work going forward.
Yeah.
Suggestion?
So we're gonna have a town hall about all the bar proposals and everything. To answer
This
your
is relating to the
question,
finances.
Right. All right. It's legitimate task.
Okay, I can
So
put them in writing.
I
if
had
you
the
prefer.
opportunity to get the bar started. We spent $4,000. It was within my range. I was not moving forward with the entire room renovation. I was just gonna get the bar started. That's the answer to the question.
And the electrics and the asbestos?
Did nothing with the electric. We haven't had an electrician in to do anything. Plumbers have been in multiple times regarding other projects in the building and looked at what we were doing and never gave a quote. And the asbestos I wasn't aware of.
Thank you.
I think we were hoping that we could get through the reports that we need to do at the meeting, so we would have time for new business that the 3 hours committee could speak. And I think Margaret is broaching those topics, so.
Amy is online.
I'm sorry. Oops. Yeah, she's done, I think.
No, Amy said Amy's
Oh, Amy's on. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
I just have a quick question. The flooring, I forgot to look, the flooring inside the bar, the new bar area, has that been removed or is it still there?
Removed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we're. Amy Smitherman is here.
Amy, can you unmute your? See you.
Yes.
Hi.
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 Great. So.
Some slides, right?
Okay, Amy, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, good, we could hear you. Okay, so coming to the presentation.
Sorry, guys, I was late. I was on another finance committee meeting for the place that pays me.
That's funny.
Okay, so what I would like you to address, Amy, are the tax and the state, and the state reporting. If you could, if you could just explain that, please, and what we're doing with the taxes, how we paid our taxes, are they filed, have we paid our sales tax? What's going on?
So
Can you just
all of our
explain that?
990s have been filed. I have the returned certified receipt from the IRS for every year that that the IRS has received.
Okay, and what about the sales tax? Can we hear her? Did we lose her?
Amy, are you still there?
I know, that was awfully brief, Amy.
I think we lost Amy. Yeah, I don't see her.
Yes, what's that? I'm sorry about it.
The tax return posted.
Yes, the tax return, it's not posted on our website. I am looking into getting that done. And hopefully we can solve having our financial reports posted as well, because until I spoke with that, I wasn't aware that they were not on the drive. But we're looking to put them on the Miramar website, all the tax returns.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, my IT department decided to upgrade and decided now was a good time that we needed to shut the computers down. So I had to switch computers. Yeah, so all the 990s have been filed. The 24,990, which is for fiscal year 25. I'm going to say that one more time because it confuses everybody. The 24,990, which is for fiscal year 25 that ended at May 31st, 2025, is currently on an extension till April 2026. We do this extension automatically. Our accounting firm just does it. This morning, I met with the CPA firm that does two things for us. One of them, they do a review of our finances, go through the balance sheet, go through the P&L, make sure everything looks good, make sure there's nothing wonky. That happened this morning. Everything looks great. They are, thrilled. Our 990, once I get them the board list, should be filed by mid-November, which is before the first deadline of our 990 based on our year-end close. This will get when the IRS is still closed. And we will just kick it down until they open again. Gotta happen sometime. Our sales tax was paid as of last year. It was paid as the membership dues. Our sales tax, we currently do owe New York State Tax Department sales tax. I do not have a login to be able to do the sales tax. The login reset goes to a person who is no longer the member of the club and will not actually assist with this. So in talking to the person at the New York State Tax Department, they are shutting down our old account. I got that email 2 days ago. And then they are going to, once that goes through their whole system, we will then open a new sales tax account under the same EIN number, and we will process our sales tax. Unfortunately, there is no paper way of doing this. Everybody's going digital. So I have to wait.
Yes.
What else am I supposed to be talking about?
Okay, I think you've addressed all of that, the tax reporting, okay.
I got one question.
Mhm.
I don't know, MSZYMANS?
Yeah, that's me. Thanks. So, yeah, on the login issue. So, when did that person leave, and were we not able to pay the sales tax since she left?
I don't remember when the login issue happened when the last time I tried to log in to pay our sales tax, and I haven't been able to get in. And so I've had multiple conversations with the New York's Department of Sales Tax concerning this. I mean, we're so small in the amount of sales tax that, you know, to be honest, their desire to assist me is kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. You're cute. But so we are in the, I'm hoping before I start collecting more member dues and the rest of that sales tax, I will be able to clear up the prior.
Okay, so you were able to log in with the old login, but then the password reset and we were not.
Yeah, I can't get in.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I wish.
But yeah, why don't we leave the questions to the end so we can get through and then we'll have more.
I just think we should take a moment to thank the finance team, Steve, Amy, Alan, and Darren. God bless you. Deserve a thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now Amy, well, you're a lot of concern about oversight of the financial committee, of the financial team, finances. I would like you to explain, you know, what our current situation is and what our plans are for the future, because we've discussed this many times.
Yeah. So we are doing two things. One, we're putting in redundancy. What date were the tax returns filed? The tax returns for fiscal year 24, FY 23, not F, yeah, 23,990. We got the letter back from the IRS that it was done in December of last year. We are, just so you guys understand, it's not our reason that we are delayed. Our tax accountants, also our tax accountants. October 15th is a major tax deadline for personal taxes for certain corporations. And we are a rounding error. I get their juniorest person every year. I mean, it's a couple thousand, went up to a couple $1,000s this past year because we're having them do review of our balance sheet and P&L. So we're not high on their priority list, but it will be done. You know, last year's was filed end of December, because they want it done before the next round of personal property, next round of people's taxes start coming through in January.
Yeah,
that was a question that was sent to me.
Quick question, I'll take 1 second.
Yeah.
Why did Koshers tell me on September 19th that they had not filed past year's returns?
I don't know why you were talking to our accountant. I don't know why they would give you anything.
And your tax returns are not available on the IRS website.
Well, they are available on the IRS website. They have
Last one.
Well, I'm not gonna.
They're not available. They're not on the IRS website. I don't know why Koshers told you. I don't know why Koshers told you that. If you would like for me to send you the 3 pieces, and if you asked, no, to be fair, if you asked them, why haven't we filed 20?
Right, Danielle,
no,
please.
let me finish now.
Everybody calm down.
Okay. If you went to
Oh, boy.
if you called our firm and asked them about the 24,990, they would tell you it has not been filed, because it has not been filed. It is not due until April of 26.
I'm aware that's not the year that I asked about.
I
I
have,
asked about the prior to that.
I
The
have,
last return that's available on the IRS website was the last one signed by Nancy in April 23.
right, it is. I have from Greg, I can forward it to whoever would like it, the proof of the extension and the proof of the mailing and when it was received.
So, but can I ask a question? Amy, wouldn't it be better than, I'm not really an expert, I'm a PT, I'm in healthcare, but wouldn't it just be better? I'm getting all these wonky emails lately. Wouldn't it just be better if you would just ask her?
I said forward.
That would have shortcut everything. You don't need to call a firm. You call
I
them.
know she didn't. Now let's clear something up here right now, okay? Let's clear something up there. No one has called me up or Amy up or asked us, hey, can we have these records? Okay?
Fine.
What I did get from Danielle and then Kalika was an email pursuant to section blah, 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 subdivision B of the New York nonprofit law. You know what? You pulled the nonprofit law on me, I'm gonna look at the statute and see how long I have to give you an answer, which is a reasonable amount of time, and you have the records now. Okay? If you ask nicely, then either, you know, Amy or I would deny sending you something.
My pre-email said that as a member under the bylaws, I wanted to review what was
Yeah.
allowable under the
Aaron.
bylaws. And IRS disclosure, 990s are required by IRS, that's not nonprofit.
So I think that, you know, rather than spend so much time on procedural issues, I think the best thing would be if Steve could just make a commitment that within a reasonable amount of time, the relevant reports will be up on the website.
I can do that. Yeah,
And
I
then
can do
I
that.
actually want to say something as a long-term member. No. This is really about communication. Maybe I'm simple-minded, but you could have just made a shortcut between the two parties and just talk about it together and not send me wonky emails in my email that I have to read because I don't have time to read it. 20 pages. First, it's about like you didn't file the tax return, you didn't pay the sales tax, we're all going down under. And then I come here and it's the opposite. It's beautiful. And I think this is communication. This doesn't have anything to do with procedures. It's pure communication. Talk with each other.
And I got one email from John.
I've been a member for 25 years. It's about communication and it's about people that spend a lot of time, their own time after work, volunteering for this club, doing all this. I couldn't even come close to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
I couldn't even
thank you. I just wanted to say, only one person reached out to Jim, and that's Anna Harrington. No one actually called him to discuss anything, and no one has called the board individually or, you know, as a group.
and talk.
This has got to stop, to make proclamations to the entire or most of the membership and not even include the board in the original email is actually probably against the bylaws. But anyway, that's another thing. I thank you for that, for bringing up that point. Let's move on to, yes, you're gonna be summer trip.
No, mine is.
Okay,
Sorry, on that
Okay, well,
point,
well,
Robin, we did
you go,
raise it at board
Amy has
meeting.
Wait, before any questions, let Amy finish her presentation. They may answer your questions. Otherwise, this meeting is gonna go into its third hour. Okay?
As I was saying, I had one person reach out to me asking about the 990. I sent them.
No, I'm sorry, Amy, not on that issue. I think we're done with that issue. I
Yeah,
would like to
proof of everything.
address what we're doing
Oh,
to address redundancy and accountability, as we've been discussing.
We have a finance committee made up of 4 members who meet more often during the season and less often during the light season, which is after skiing ends and before skiing starts again. It's the easiest way to describe it. Of this, I handle most of the bill pays. We are training another member of the committee to do bank reconciliations so the fact that we don't have, so there's a double check of my work and making sure that there's nothing going on. Steve is the treasurer who deals with the board and does with the budgets. So we are making sure that we have separation of duties, which is something that has been working the last couple of years within the club. This is my second go around of this job. I'm not having another set of twins, so I'm stuck with it, I think. And that has been something that has been lacking in the fact that we have usually had one or two people doing all of the finances.
And you're right.
So making sure that we have division, segregation of duties. I don't deposit the checks anymore. Membership deposits the membership checks, Anna deposits checks, other people deposit checks. That way the checks are not coming to me, as I'm also the person that has access to spending the money. That is a very important segregation of duties that needs to happen within this. You know, I mean, we're a $300,000 organization. We're not going to get it perfect. We can't. We don't have the band. We don't have enough volunteers, and we don't have the, you know, volume and money to deal with it. But we are trying the best as the, you know, a small, well, I think it was minuscule was the term that our accounting firm used. Social organization can get.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Amy. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap up now. In some, I mean, we're doing very well. We paid our taxes, we pay everything. Amy does an amazing job keeping on top of everything. Such an amazing job that I'll call her up. It's like, hey, don't we have to send out this stuff to the accounts? She's like, oh, I already did that. Hey, don't we have to do the bus contract? Oh, I already got that. So she is amazingly on top of it. And again, we've made an increase of about 30%. We have, our assets are $263,000. And we put 100,000 into a brokerage account, which we're going to be putting another 30,000 in before the end of the year, to prepare. And I think we have money set aside for the fire alarm. And to anticipate a question, we also have money set aside for renovations into the fire alarm. So everything is budgeted. We do prioritize things. We're not just running around writing out checks. We keep on top of everything, and Miramar is very strong, and our systems are even getting stronger thanks to Aaron putting together our books. That we can now move forward and pivot to other projects like having redundancy, having accountability. Those are our next steps. Thank you. We'll open.
First I want to thank the Finance Committee for preparing the detailed financial information. It was very helpful, certainly way better than in past years. And I just wanted to make it a small correction, but for last year, according to my records and the checks I deposited for the J1s, we received 14,443, and the record says 15,053. It's about $500 difference. It's not huge, but if somebody can take a look and try to fix that discrepancy.
Aaron?
No, if I may.
No, just saying, Aaron.
Yeah.
That's what he's gonna do.
Then I wanted to respond on the secretary's duties. And to know that everything that was in the board of directors folder last year was saved as director's reports and was moved to the public folder together with the approved minutes. So if financials were presented separately, they were there. If there was a link, when I did the PDF, they might have disappeared. So to explain. And
things fall through the cracks. It's okay.
Steve, may I finish?
Sure.
Okay. So that was that. In past time that I was the secretary, there are very few minutes in the account, in the folder as of earlier today. There is a set of April minutes where it lists Kalinka is missing. I had actually resigned. May minutes are wrong. There is nothing for June or July. For August, there is an AI summary that's not really in minutes. So if somebody can fix that, that would be appreciated. And lastly, I wanted to say, I was on the board for 11 months. And during that period of time, so I started April last year. I resigned after the board meeting in March. So would have been 11 months, 30 months before the end of my period. And during that period of time, I did not see a budget. If there is any new budget or the old budget was used for that year, I think it would be nice if it can be posted somewhere, or at least for this fiscal year as well.
It's in the materials I provided. I don't know if you've seen.
There was a budget, or there was a comparison against the budget?
Yeah, no,
We've never
this
seen-
year, 2026 budget, I am just putting it together now. I just have the draft budget of it. And by my calculations, that's why I can say I'm recommending that trip prices and dues do not go up.
Okay.
Because it still needs to be approved by the board,
Right. I'm
okay?
just
And
saying
once
that
that happens, then it will be in the board minutes.
the separate budget that was for the past fiscal year.
Yes.
It'd be nice to see it as a separate budget, and we don't know when the board approved it as
Yeah.
such.
So to answer your question, 2026 is still yet to be done because we've just gotten our books together and I ran all the numbers on it. And that's gonna go up for board approval. 2025 was carried over from 2024. Because when I was gonna do the budget for 2024, the books were in such disrepair, primarily to the Cody Stripe interface, that I couldn't make any
Steve,
sense.
you're very good with words. Can you?
Thank you.
Right,
I'm a lawyer.
can you just though factually put it on a website?
It's in the materials you have,
And
that you
the
emailed.
last year.
Yeah, no, you have it here.
So let's not, let me say, you can do whatever you want with my information.
You have that then. You have it. Everyone has it.
There is a comparison, but not as a separate budget that was approved.
Yeah, no, the separate budget is in there. It's comparing the budget to the actual.
No, and just let me finish. Going back to the tax returns, and so the numbers that I said, the whole issue started because I was in charge of summer trips last year, and there was a discrepancy in the numbers, what were reported for summer trips for the, not for the J1s. This year it is more or less correct, so I'm very happy to see that. Last year, I asked if we have in our books 20,000 from J1s, when we received only 14,000, how much are we paying taxes? Starting back from the end of last year, certainly already by February, I specifically asked, can I see a tax return? Steve said you'll get it from the accountant. In March, I asked, can I see a copy of the last year's tax return? The answer was, and it's in the minutes, it's tax season, we haven't seen the tax return. You earlier said that had Danielle nicely asked you for the tax return, you would have given it to her. Well, as a board member, I think very nicely, I asked several times for that information. And that is the reason I resigned from the board. At the time, the board even didn't have a board of directors insurance. I felt like, I don't know what's happening with this.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
financial
Lisa, you
status.
have a question.
No, it was a statement.
Okay, thank you.
And the question is, yes, how come I have not received, I also have personally asked, a copy of the tax return?
Because you're not entitled to them under the statute that you said sent me.
I did not send any statute. I
Yeah,
told you what Danielle could have. What about me?
My obligation under what you,
Have
under
some
what you.
respect for people. You're not the king, okay?
No, I'm not.
Next time I see you with AI doing things,
I have no idea what you're talking about, Blanca.
I don't know.
You're not making no sense.
So,
Aaron, please. Aaron, please.
no, I just want, Steve wanted a question. My question is, I was a board member. In February, I asked for the tax return. I have not sent it to this day, even though I asked again in September.
They will be posted on. It will be posted on the website as soon as we get that together.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, Aaron.
So I just think that one thing that would provide some improvement going forward in this area is if Steve in conjunction with the board would actually publish what the expectation is on a financial statement, reporting and distribution. So what are the dates that the membership can expect the regular reports to appear? Because obviously the fiscal year ended May 31st. We're now at the end of October. That's kind of a long delay. And of course, we did have a lot of work to do cleaning out the books this year. But in a normal year, there should be an expectation that within some time frame, you will publish your final report and also your periodic reports. Are you gonna report quarterly? Are you gonna report monthly? And what would be the time frame for issuing that and putting it on the website? I think that would really go a long way towards having a greater transparency and more relaxation among everyone.
Thank you, Aaron. And actually, I'm just gonna, before I get to you, Amy Swindler wants to say something. She might be having an answer. I mean,
I have my hands up. We have directors and officers insurance. You are correct, Kalinka. You did ask for the policy. I emailed our insurance brokers and discovered that at some point in time prior to anyone who is currently on the board, that policy was either canceled or former board members chose not to pay it. I don't know. I don't care. It lapsed. We now have directors and officers insurance. There's no way I'd do that. Danielle, to answer your question, because we are a C7 on the IRS code, the only thing that we are required to give to the members is a annual business report at the annual meeting. We actually have 2 of these general membership meetings and we provide the reports at that time. The 990s, I can email to whoever would like them, except I have to scan them over because the auditors send me paper copies that have stamped all over them. File copies paper copies do not file, so nobody screws up the IRS. And to the several people who've asked me why the IRS hasn't posted our 990s on their site yet, or ProPublic, I don't know. I do know ProPublic pulls it from an IRS feed. I am guessing it's because our auditor, our accounting firm paper filed our 990s and didn't electronically file them, which has caused a lag, but that is a guess. I also know that the IRS staff, especially the IRS staff in some of the 990s, has been dramatically cut. Because I would love to turn the Huntley Fund into a true foundation and allow people to be able to take tax deductible donations to that. And I have been told by people at the IRS, there is no way in hell we're getting another 501c anything.
I'm sorry, can I just say something on the IRS to finish this discussion? Gosia Szymańska. If you go to IRS website, all charities are only listed for 2022. There are no more listings after that. And I don't know the reason, but it doesn't mean Miramar hasn't filed. I work for a nonprofit foundation. I know we filed.
501c3, please tell me.
No, what she's saying is that the IRS is behind in putting up
Yeah,
nonprofit
so
tax returns.
it's not a reason to worry.
Yes.
It might be the reason why it's like they go back.
Thank you, Goshen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gosha. Hi, Michael. Hi, Ann. She's been waiting a while.
Yeah, all I want to say here is though I do have some questions and comments. I'm going to stand down on them for now so we can move on, and I'd like to gently suggest maybe the others in the room might too. I in the hope that Steve and the rest of the board will make themselves available.
Absolutely.
I just very briefly, and I think this is a good way of ending it. So it sounds like you will share the final tax returns with any members who want to see them. Yes, Robin is nodding his head. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer if we just dump it into a drive so I don't have to answer 50 emails.
That would be great. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be wonderful, but soon, that would be great.
Yeah.
So Steve, just a question going forward, you know, I'm not on the board right now, but I know how hard it is with the volunteer positions and reviewing the minutes. You know, the person who puts the minutes together, sometimes stuff is missing. Like that happened with the April GMM. I looked at the minutes and my membership stuff was incomplete and some of it was inaccurate. So because I saw it as part of my role that because I had given this report, I needed to review what the minutes said and I edited them extensively. So I would just ask for you, with the board minutes and with the GMM minutes, can you please make sure to take a little bit of time, look at them, and make sure that they include any of your reports, the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet going forward, and then so that way every single board minutes every month will have those things. And then if members want to look them up, they're readily available. Would you commit to that?
Yeah, sure. I think unquestionably that we've had, yeah, I'll let Robin.
You know, we had a gap about secretaries when Flinka came on and then we had a GMM. And then we hadn't gotten John on board, so we didn't have a secretary. And I did it from the Zoom, which had terrible sound, and I'm the president. I'm not supposed to do that. So I did send it out to everyone to try to correct those minutes.
I totally understand, Robin. Just so you know, we haven't been including the profit loss statement in the balance sheets for longer than that gap with the secretary. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't understand. Okay, so that's great. Also,
I'm sorry, but that's not true. I report by balance sheet, profit and loss, every general membership.
Yeah. No, I said on the board minutes.
That's just
if you look at the board minutes, it goes back further than that.
That is true.
So if you could make sure to provide those to the board every month, and then if you could just check to make sure that they're attached to the minutes every month, that the membership will have access to.
Sure, and let me answer why it wasn't, before you go on, let me just answer why it wasn't in the board minutes. Or why it didn't issue it. Because we had problems with the coding interface at that time, so the profit and loss balance sheets were meaningless. Because all the numbers were all off, there was no make any sense of it.
Understand where the membership gets nervous, right?
Well, no, but what I did report was our balance sheet, what I did report were about balances. And what, and what was going on, but to provide a piece of paper that had all the wrong numbers on it just didn't make sense.
Well,
And technically, yes.
Why you were not.
I'm sorry?
Got an explanation that you had an accounting hiccup with systems.
Yes.
Would have gone a long way in transparency.
We gotta move on.
to why we didn't get the information.
Well, just to be clear, this applies to the board meetings, not the general membership. Okay.
Call the question here, let's move on.
Can we just go to
No,
Gail,
I
because she's
have-
had her hand up for a
I'm
long
not
time?
done yet, but I really think that this is
Yeah.
productive. I don't,
Okay.
I hope that you won't cut me off.
Enough.
Yeah. Can we take one last question from Gail?
It's really complex. When you add these items, the tax returns, the minutes to the website, could there be a notice in the weekly mail so you know it's there, so you can look at it?
Sure, that's not my end of things. That's more technology, and actually putting the stuff in the drive and where to put it on the drive is not my end of things. But yeah, sure, we could look into that. We could put it in the newsletter, yeah.
We will follow up on all of this with John as the secretary, Kiara and Adam, I'm sure will be involved somewhere.
Thank you very much.
I'll just throw in one thing real quick, if it helps you out, the AI summaries and the transcripts that we set up with Zoom are now quite accurate. They are there for every meeting since you guys have taken over. When I left, I set it up so that it just be automatic. If that's useful to you, I can
Yes.
go pull them all out, and I can put them all online.
Put them online. Thank you.
Okay, so Robin,
Yes, one last.
please let me finish what I was gonna say.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so I have one quick question and then a final comment that it would be ironic if you cut me off for it. So one issue with the minutes, if we go back to the minute for the board minutes last year, there's no reference to a budget. There's no motion that the board passed a budget. So you can understand the confusion among the membership when we're getting a document saying, we're referencing a board passed budget for this past year, because we can't find one. So could you guys please dig through your minutes and stuff and find the actual document you guys voted on, not the comparison now, but the document that you voted on? That would be hugely helpful.
Okay, the budget was carried over because we didn't have a budget for 2025. Because we couldn't put it together, so it's the vote from 2023 passing the budget That's the relevant vote.
Okay, so there was no budget for this year. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so we carried
And
over the
then
last
finally, I would just say, I agree about communication, like I really do, and I've been really disheartened. It's really hard, right? Like a member sends an email and you say, well, if you had asked me nicer, I would have responded. And Robin, I know you won't speak to me, and I just ask, please, I'm
Have
available.
you ever contacted me directly? I've never gotten a phone call from you or
I've never
an
gotten a
email.
phone call from you.
Why would I? I don't have a problem with you. You have a problem with me.
You don't have a problem
Well,
with
then
me.
ask me questions. I don't have a question for you.
You listen to my emails. I don't.
What, your emails go to the whole membership, not to me. In fact, I wasn't even on that, you know.
I've
And
never emailed the whole
to-
membership. I've
look.
never emailed the whole membership.
All right,
Okay, let's just, move. That's it. You've made your point.
I'm just, look, I'm
Ah,
asking all.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off at this point. You just have to stop.
Okay, so Margaret has one more comment, and if anyone else has other comments, is there a way? Like sending an email to board@miramar.org, they can
Yes, they can.
send their questions and.
I don't know, I did see other
Steve.
hands up here. You know, like
Steve, I think
Margaret
you'll
can't-
appreciate this
she can't
comment.
fight it
It's,
quite-
Yeah,
Okay,
Steve.
go ahead.
Margaret's trying to speak. Go ahead, Margaret.
yeah, I've been involved in a lot of not-for-profit organisations over many years. And Steve, I do have some sympathy for you. Being treasurer and being on the finance committee is a tough job. And no one is ever, you're not going to please everybody all the time. And that's why I was so pleased when both Robin and you at the beginning said that you were committed to transparency. And I really, really hope that going forward we can have that you do publish this stuff, that you do give us more than the day of the meeting to actually see the financial reports, and that we don't have to ask you nicely to actually get the stuff. I think you genuinely have the club's interest. Both of you. So please just be transparent with us as members and let's all work together to make this club work. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret.
Can we move on to summer trip, please? Thank you, Kalinka, for stepping up after years struggling to fill this post. You've done a great job of revitalizing our summer program.
Thank you for everybody who's still with us here. I know it's okay, but I can read it from here. It's easier to see. Yes, so I really appreciate people reading. So my report is here, so okay, I can try actually looking at it. We had another successful and joyful summer in Vermont, with car trips on each of the 4 traditional long weekends, and the first summer bus trip in many years. Everyone who attended our summer trips was pleasantly surprised to see the state of the property, clear access to the river, benches and tables by the river, new outdoor fireplace, spacious lawn and lawn games, as well as tables and floats for both the lake and the river. Many thanks to Steve Castor, who used to be my great friend, and I hope we still remain friends. And the volunteers who worked on the club's outdoor areas. Their efforts have received rave reviews from members and guests throughout the summer. And major shout out to Maureen. Is she here? Yeah. Maureen. Contact to members of the place of the summer. Of the 5 trips, she led 2 and staffed 2. Most importantly, she saved the day by stepping up to lead the July bus trip with only a few weeks' notice. She did an amazing job. 2 trips are worth mentioning specifically. The first one was the July 4th, our first sold out summer trip. Many thanks to Matt Goggers and Kiara, whose first crazy calls encouraged many young members to come along. For many members, it was their first summer trip. We heard they all are coming next year again. To accommodate the large attendance, we actually had to ask the chair wants to temporarily move out in one of the basement rooms and make it available for the July 4th trippers. The next one is the Farm to Fort Pondo Mad River Marathon trip. This was our first bus trip, which was a huge success, and we want to really thank the board for approving the trip. It proved to be a great investment, and we received rave reviews from our requests, from our guests. We expect to build on the success of this trip and make the future bus trips profitable. Special thanks once again to Stu for handling negotiation with the bus company, arranging blankets and bungee cords to secure the bikes, and working with the bus driver on the itinerary, among many other things. And we were really lucky to have Mike as our driver, as he's familiar with Miramar. Mike did an amazing job. Unfortunately, we did not have enough registration to run the Saratoga Springs horse race trip. The feedback indicated that the trip lacked outdoor activities like hiking and biking. We will soon be sending a survey to the membership regarding summer bus trips. So when you get it, please respond. We will greatly appreciate your feedback on what factors most influence your decision to attend or not to attend a bus trip to Vermont next summer or this past summer. So I did a little calculation, actually, Steve, I didn't check it with you, but I used the information you gave me early in the summer, so hopefully my math was correct. Summer trips have traditionally not been a major source of income. The idea had been to break even and give members an opportunity to have a place to relax in the summer. Based on the expense estimates for summer trips provided by the treasurer, we calculated the total net income after expenses without adding any overhead expenses for all summer trips to be 4,327. As the summer trip committee grows, we hope to expand the number of trips and increase profitability. And then I have it the breakdown per trip. I guess I don't have to read it. We did have a loss on the bus trip, but we had, a lot of income on pretty much the same amount for the July 4th trip. And again, the way we've been calculating it is based on, food expenses for the chef and for cleaning and so forth, but we did not add any overhead expenses yet. And I hope to work with the finance team to get good numbers, what should be the overhead for the trips. And I think there's probably a little bit more. I would like to acknowledge all of the trip leaders and staff who not only have to lead the trip and organize all the activities, but also handle the challenging task of matching trippers needing rides. We tried. Talked to Pat, who was the last one, had to do a lot of guests, which could be very, very consuming, especially when there are many guests needing a ride. So all the trip leaders did an amazing job. Let's give them a hand. The Summer Trip Committee would also like to thank the various other committees and individual members for their ongoing support. Technology. Many thanks to the technology team, Adam, for preparing the registration forms and sending out the service, Cesar and Adam for charging the credit cards, and most importantly, Steve Templeton, who diligently posts all the trips on the websites. Publicity. As always, the publicity committee led by Kira was instrumental in promoting summer trips with their creative and eye-catching messaging. The publicity committee recently provided us with some valuable feedback, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of items. Early registration was one of the recommendations. We are certainly aiming to open registration for all trips as soon as possible after the ski season is over. To do so, we need to identify the trip leader and staff. Unfortunately, people have not been stepping up early enough, and so we've been delayed with postings. As you can see, the reason for trips were led and staffed by Maureen is that there were no other volunteers. So she was incredible. Please express your interest to staff or lead as soon as possible, ideally by March 2026 for next year. Leading with staffing a winter trip counts towards summer trip leadership, in case somebody's wondering. Summer membership, there was mentioning by the publicity committee about summer mentioning, our view that at this point that we do not feel the need of a separate summer membership. We do feel that it is a good to get more and more guests in summer, but the idea is to have one membership for everybody. We will work with Adam to have service sent out after each summer trip, which would help us improve summer trips to know the feedback and obtain feedback about the guests as well. Many summer guests are coming both in winter as well and summer, so it's good to have that information. And last on this, the Miramar website, as we start preparing for the next summer, we'll be working with publicity and tech team, so expect to get a call from me or an email to get together to see and vision how to update the Miramar website so that we can provide visibility to the summer trip, especially, during the summer months. Continued housekeeping, Lanier has been on top of coordinating the housekeeping always. Off trips, Patricia has been very helpful with coordinating the off trips, as many summer trippers come early and will stay late. And audit, of course, as always, Gail, she's been meticulous in auditing all summer trip accounts. And hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did, there was one more thing. Okay.
That was it.
Okay, no, but look at my thing. It must have gone time. Okay, the summer trip committee will be having a meeting in November to start our planning for next year. Let me know if you're interested in joining and we'll include you. Hiking task force. At the end of the summer, we launched the hiking task force, which was spearheaded by Robin. As Robin mentioned in the president's report, many hikes have already taken place and a few more, already on the calendar. We expect the task force to become a separate committee as it grows. And the most important thing that I was looking for was the J1 report. This summer, we had a total of 8 J1 students. As a reminder, J1 is a reference to the international students who come to the US on a J1 visa and are sponsored by the owner of Canteen Creamy to work on his store as part of the cultural exchange program. This year, the first student came to the lodge on May 14th, and the last student left on September 16th. The initial payment of $8,600 for the first half of the summer has been received and deposited in the account. An additional payment of $9,225 is expected shortly, for a total of $17,625. Many thanks to Anthony Seminar as the outgoing liaison for the J1s, who has been overseeing the J1s from the inception of the program. Anthony is stepping down, and Patricia Costaglioni and Pat McGivern will be sharing the role starting next spring. And that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much. A very thorough and report and for revitalizing the summer trip and yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's going to be almost as organized as the winter trip, which leads me to the next report. Anna, member of the year, Anna.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So this is really quick. The winter trip schedule has not changed materially from when you saw it last spring. We took out one trip, which is the trip at the end of the big trip. It was gonna have a substitute bus company. It never has a lot of people, a lot of members on it, and we thought that having a substitute bus company and not a lot of members was not a formula for a good trip. So we've taken that one out. The other thing is that we have, I'm not gonna do all that. The other thing is that we have, we're certain that the holiday midweek car trip is gonna run. So please make your plans to come. It was a great trip last year. And it's gonna be a great one this year. And we are hopeful that the president's midweek car trip is gonna run. We're not sure, but it's looking good right now. We make changes and improvements every year. I'm not gonna go into them here. What I would tell you is only two things. One is the experiment with bus drink rotation, that we had some different bus strikes was well received by the winter trip committee. So we think we're going to continue to do that. So we're gonna mix it up a little with bus trip, drinks. We are gonna continue to pursue having non-alcoholic drinks on our, both the bar and the bus. And, we're working on getting Miramar local items for sale, for pre-sale. So, hopefully that one will come together. It's taking, and the bottleneck on that, it's taking me a little time to put that together, but watch this space for Miramar logo items that you can purchase. I think that's it. Oh, no, and, oh, I forgot the last one. We always need more people on the winter trip committee and more people to help out. There's a lot of people on it, but it's a big thing to run winter trips, so we always can use more people. So if you're interested, please, let me know and we'll include you. The other thing though to know is that I am not going to run the big trip next year. I don't think has made a decision. So we are going to have an orientation for people who might be interested in running the big trip. So just watch the space for that one. That's it.
Thank you so much. Kiara, you're up. Kiara.
I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it in this.
It's spelling it.
Yes. That's fine, answer anything close to it. Okay. Exactly. Okay, I will make this very, very short. We are gonna just share a quick update. Kalinka pretty much covered all the summer stuff. We focused on promoting our summer trips, using social media, the newsletter, and WhatsApp, all of the ways that we are always communicating with you all. And as Kalinka said, we put together some recommendations for how to better promote those summer trips next year. So you can keep sharing those photos in the WhatsApp, both for summer trips and for winter trips. That is incredibly helpful to us as we continue publicizing and showing everybody how much fun we all have on Miramar trips. So I just want to give a really big shout out to all the members of our publicity committee. I think David, Steve, anybody else here?
Anna's online.
And Anthony's online, I think, and Anne is online. So yes, you all are wonderful. I'm very grateful to have you all on this committee. So thank you all for all of the work that you do behind the scenes to make our social media, newsletters, and advertising look so good, and to grow our membership every year. And then the last thing I'll do is just plug a long-term goal of mine has been to refresh the Lift Lines blog into a newsletter. And we think it would be really great for engaging members and new guests. So we don't have the capacity to do that right now. No one on the committee has the time to be able to do some of that work. So if anyone is interested, it would be sort of setting deadlines for Lift Lines content and then following up and making sure people actually meet those deadlines for the newsletter content. So if anyone is interested in that, you can contact me directly. I'm in all the WhatsApp groups, so I'm very easily available. Or you can email publicity@miramar.org. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions? No, great. Local activities, Hill. Hill's been great. He's been very helpful on the executive committee as well. Thank you so much. Steve and Jimmy. Yeah.
Hello, I hope this is going to be one of the less controversial presentations.
Like happy hour?
I have, the way I see it, I have two jobs, deliver one happy hour a month and, find something that will work for Snowball. We have been able to do, for the most part, one happy hour a month. I think we missed one, in summer. In the peak of the summer, nobody wanted to go out. Chris, right, I don't know if he's here. No, he, did most of everything, this year. Phil did one. Thank you so much, Phil. And big hand for him. And big hand for Chris, who is not here. We'll continue to stick to our objective. Pat McGillicuddy did a bike ride in Long Island, led the trip. Robin did so many hikes. Tom I've never met Tom. $5. Matt's first event. And our president, who's everywhere and dealing with so much, did so many hikes, and I think we should be very grateful for that. So Snowball will be, May 15th, Friday before Memorial Day weekend, as Bill likes to remind me. And, unfortunately, we're having trouble finding a good spot. So the default spot is the same place we went last year. Writers or players, yeah. When I pitched this to a few people, I got commentary. So we have a contest. So can you go to the next slide, Tom? So we have a contest. The winner will get free ticket for one person and 50% off for the second person for the snowball tickets. Just for general guidelines, the last year tickets were $175 a person with over 85 attendees. It's not on there, but last year I think we had a choice of 2 entrees. And open bar for 2 hours in the beginning and a cash bar afterwards. Open bar was
Buffet.
yeah, it was buffet, but I'm talking about the more important things, the alcohol. But
You don't need a lot.
yeah, I mean, yeah, so it was 2 hours in the beginning of the event was wine and beer open bar, and after dinner was a cash bar. So if you can find something that's roughly comparable at a decent venue, email me. Proposals that
In the newsletter?
yeah, that's a great idea. We're gonna put it in. David, I'll send you an email. Yeah, so questions? Lauren,
Maybe you said this, but is the reason we're not having it players is because the price went up too much?
no, we can still go there. It's just people didn't like it very much. So there was commentary, so we're opening it up to other ideas. Essentially, I'm inviting the people with commentary to do something about it. Anybody else? All right, thank you very much.
Well, what about doing it at a yacht club? That's good. Right. City Island, next time. Okay, thank you very much, Bill. John Rizzuto, Tech. And what is?
So, yeah, I'm gonna go off script for a minute. Thanks for, my role as recording secretary and the tech committee liaison, which means I'm the cause of all your problems because I have to record all these events. I have to post them and I make sure the technology gets it to you. I'm the guy you gotta blame. But anyway, couple of months, I'm also the one after we get back who clears it up to get the parade. But in any case, there's not anything really new in Adam's Technology Committee report. This is basically the same thing you saw last year. That's when we do the most part and what we talk about most in these tech committee meetings, and you could go to the next slide. What we saw last year is our AdWords capabilities and being able to really leverage the searches online on Google into turning that into paying customers on our trips. If Adam wants to comment more on that, he's here, he can, but I think we know how well this has worked for us for several years now and really has been a boom for us, and that continues to work well. All right, so I will stop there and then we'll have a better report next time as we talk about things that we can do to make ourselves more transparent.
I have a quick question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You mentioned that we're searching the mic, people that you're looking.
Sure.
Give it the mic. How about the Huntley program? If I'm sitting there thinking, I kind of like to learn to ski, is Huntley gonna come up?
I don't know. I mean, it's learning to ski as AdWords, Adam. Is that something that, will bring a Miramar to the forefront or the hunting program to the forefront?
What's your question?
No, yeah.
So, for what we've run so far, learn to ski is not a targeted keyword because that brings up a lot of different things, and the budget that we were allocated was pretty minimal in the grand scheme of stuff. So we were already limited by our advertising budget for people that were actively searching for snow bus, ski to Vermont, high paying active people searching for exactly what the club is selling. And we were only capturing maybe 30 to 35% of that market and hitting our budget spend. So there's a lot more prime target out there. But yes, this was on the agenda to say maybe for next year, we can cut out a little bit maybe from the Huntley program to put specifically towards an ad campaign or learn to ski. But the other part of that would be creating a dedicated page. So when people click on it, they get the whole Huntley pitch, the whole thing, as opposed to just landing on a ski bus trip page. So in the works, and if the board wants to do it, we can.
Can you describe the graph here? I'm not sure I understand it. Oh, it's the same for the tagline.
So so the graph, it's pretty straightforward in terms of what you're looking for. It's not super fancy. Basically, the red line is search impression share, and then the blue line is the number of impressions. So there's two different types of campaigns that we ran. One is direct search. So somebody goes to Google, types in ski bus, right? Super high intent buyer looking for the service that you're offering, doesn't know Miramar exists. They go there, they search, they see our ad, Miramar Ski Club, they click on it, they get to the site. Fantastic. Most people will not click an ad and then purchase within the same session. Somebody searching is going to do their research, and that's where all the work from the publicity team comes in. So they find us this way initially, then they start doing their research. They find us on Facebook, they see our Instagram, they see all the great work the publicity team was doing. Then they start getting what are called retargeting ads. Those are the ones where they pop up casually on the browser where it shows, hey, you should ski this weekend. Here's some pictures of the club, et cetera, et cetera. When people click on those, it might be a week later or 2 weeks later. You keep serving it to them, and then eventually they convert and they buy. So there's just a couple different metrics up there, but the most important one is all conversions. That number indicates people that have clicked or seen an ad that have paid for a trip. And I can't see it from here, but I think it's 113 people, maybe. It's probably somewhere around there. So that means over the whole season, you had about 113 people that searched for what we were offering, saw ads, came back, clicked, and paid the club money to go on a bus trip.
103.
All right,
I don't understand.
we are down to good and welfare.
What do you mean?
Our very own national treasure. Thank you for your longest service to the club. You set the bar very high.
Okay, people, I think I am a long-time member. Has anybody been a member before we got the lodge? Anyway, with the mystery bus ride, I don't want to go into that. I do a good welfare, which I like. It keeps me in the loop. And of course, people know what it is. If you have anything to report that's good, you call me or text me. If you have anything to report that's bad, like welfare people, that either they lost somebody or they broke their leg or something like that, I send a card out, and I think it's rewarding that the members know that other members think of them, and I think they like getting the card. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
So what I have to report now is Wendy Shepherd was here, and unfortunately, her husband passed away last week after years of fighting cancer. He really, really wanted to stay alive, and he really fought it, but I did get a card out to her. And the other one I did this week was Pat McKibben. She's a long-time member like Pat and Toby, and she was coming home from the opera a few weeks ago, and she's getting off the train, and she got caught between the train and this platform, and she fractured her pelvis. Oh my God. But she is, okay, she's going home today. I spoke to her. She went to rehab up in Rye, and she really wanted to stay a few more days, but they wouldn't let her stay. But she was happy to hear from me, so I did get a get well card out to her from the club. And if anybody has anything to report of your good and welfare, contact me, I'm Mountie, and I will be more than glad to get the card out to the people. Any questions?
Does she need any help? No.
She is trying to get help. No, I don't know. She asked the place where she was staying if she could please stay another 5 days, and they wouldn't let her stay there. She might need some help.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you know Toby?
Did she have her sister? Toad?
Well, looking at her family, maybe.
Is she at
Their house?
She has a sister in Rye. Is she at her sister's house? Do you know?
What?
She has a sister who lives in Rye. Is she at her sister's house? Do you know?
No, I don't know. She's just saying that today she said she's just being discharged and she wanted to stay a few more years, a few more days at the lodge. Anyway, it's nice to see all these new faces. Just stay in the club because I've been in for a long, long time. And I hope to say, even though I can't ski anymore, I still am loyal to this club. It is my family. Oh.
Thank you. All right, we are down to new business. I think this is the time that Alex would like to make a presentation.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just start. Maybe I'll stay here. Okay, I'll just stand here. People on Zoom. Hello, everyone.
Well, actually, people on Zoom would like to see you.
Oh, well,
Maybe they can turn you back.
I'll actually come here, but then I'll sit down.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you'd rather sit down, come sit here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just had operation, so. Yeah, go. It's easy to shot.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll stand up for a little bit, yeah. So I'm here to, let's move back one slide before we get into this. Okay. I'm part of the rec room, renovations committee. Just a little background, so about mid-August. Work on a new bar was started. It was pretty extensive in terms of what they wanted to achieve. And then over probably a period of 2-3 weeks, the members that came up on Labor Day weekend, and I think in between, they kind of saw what was going on, expressed their concerns about the size of the bar, the type of construction, and and the board kindly kind of put a pause on the continued work of the bar. Also at the same time, Robin invited concerned members to actually join into the committee.
It's still going on.
Which is a rec room renovations committee, and I'm speaking for our committee. That's the background, so. Thank you. Oh, sure. Yeah, please move on. Yeah, thank you. So the bar was the bar currently that's been partially built out is a U-shaped bar. It kind of takes the place of where the old bar was. And I think to be fair to the entire membership, we came up with 2 options. Ski season is almost upon us. It's probably less than a month and a half away. Given what they're saying about La Nina, it's going to help us out in the Northeast. So one option is to remove the new bar that was built, partially constructed one, and use the old bar. And these pros and cons came from the committee members, which would make up probably about 12 people, as well as some other comments. I'm not going to read them all, but you can see there's handouts that we've given out. And there seems to be more pros for this option. And these are temporary options until a true redesign of the bar that would kind of meet everyone's or the memberships and the clubs sort of aesthetics about the rec room can actually be designed. One of the things that's going to go into that is the survey that went out to everyone. That survey we'd like to get back by November 1st. So that any comments and survey results would actually help the rec room committee come up with a sort of final design for the new bar. So the cons for this, also for removing what's been built, is the sunk cost, which is, what you've spent on it, but there is something called the sunk cost fallacy. I just want to mention that in passing. And what that is that, any money, time, energy that's been spent on something to continue it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be abandoned, because abandoning it might actually be more beneficial in the end run. So, and then the estimated time cost is 9 days to do the work and $2,880 to time and material. So, and there's detail on that if anyone is interested in. It's I have it on a couple sheets, but it's also at the end of this presentation. Yeah, thank you. So this is what the old bar space looked like. I'm sure everybody is familiar with that. Yeah, everybody's having a good time. Okay, thanks, Robin. And then option 2, leave the new bar and make it usable as is. As you can see, the pros, or not too many pros, but mostly cons, but that might just be due to people's surprise at the actual new bar when they saw it. So actually, one of the pros is the members can form firsthand opinions of the bar. It does take up a lot of space, and it kind of, in some ways, we're concerned about the membership recruitment in particular, because it's going to be temporary. It's a temporary measure to keep it, to make it usable for the ski season. And it actually takes more time and money than option 1, about $1,000 more, and a little bit more time also. But it is doable. These both options are doable in the time that we have pre-ski season. Can you move on to the next one? So this is a picture from behind the new bar. The framing, there's going to have to be waterproofing on the bar counter. Floor has to be actually finished off of it. And some electrical work has to be checked by a licensed electrician to make sure we're not overloading the line. Next, please. This is a good picture of seeing the size of the bar. It's quite close to the dance floor, edge of the dance floor. There is the yellow tape is where the carpet has to be really replaced. And then the chairs, of course, there's not a lot of room for the chair to sit within the space between the dance floor and the edge of the bar. So I think we definitely have to look at that could be a hazard, but anyway, just this is really to describe for you guys to see the size of the new bar for anyone who hasn't been there. Next slide. So what's the diagram on the right kind of shows the new bar in total size, the blue outline, and the green outline is the actual old bar, which was moved out of the dotted line position you see and moved to the side of the room temporarily, and that's what you see in the picture. If, for instance, we were going to keep the new bar as is, we would actually not get rid of the old bar at this time, but that would probably be moved up against the wall on that side, flush, because the width of the old bar is only about 15 inches. So it doesn't really take up that much space. Anyway, so that's pretty much
2.5 hours on the Zoom at the Miramar meeting, it's dragging on and on. The bottom line is that the
I can understand.
No, I can't, you have to.
balance sheet and operation wise, and there's some.
I can't do it.
People were very involved.
I cannot mute him.
Summer trips were especially good.
I
don't.
No,
I know you did. Very good. And that woman running, the bed was going on and on, but it's, I have the balance sheet, very, 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 very professional, They're discussing that right now.
Turn the volume down. You can turn the volume down. Yes. Well, that- that-
Now
that is
they-
on this one.
If they want to make it a bigger or a smaller one, you know?
So, that's why, yeah, so.
Okay, here's a report. Thank you, Doctor.
There another slide? Yeah, there's.
Better, the bottom line is.
Tom.
Okay. Great. But it's less exhausting. than-
Yeah, okay, so, all right, guys, I'll take any questions.
Yeah, of course.
Hold on a second.
Where's the other? One more day, no. Being active. And I'm a very.
Just one question, which is, are these the only proposals that are out there?
These are the only two proposals right now, because we have to do
Initially was
something.
hard walking, you know.
Right?
No,
Frank.
I'm sorry, yeah, Robin.
This is Pat. Can you mute yourself?
Okay, I need,
Frank.
we need to get Frank.
Hi, Frank. Can you mute?
But they order.
This is a television show.
I was swimming around the pool. All together.
Frank, please stop
Oh, yeah.
talking.
I'm obeying orders exactly, you know?
No.
But they want to it very nice.
Somebody
Oh.
that says Miramar is connected. What? Because then we don't hear anybody.
Okay, let's try to do this.
We don't hear anybody.
Okay, we asked this, we're calling it a committee, it's not a board committee or corporate, committee of the corporation or a committee of the board. It is an ad hoc committee. And thank you so much for what you're doing, and you will present it to the board. We're gonna have
And she was
a town hall on this issue, I think it's November seventh, after the deadline. But, we did get another, we haven't gotten the full proposal from, Richard,
That's why she had.
Gary.
Hospital.
That is,
Not drug.
has different,
Not drug, no.
opinions about
For a long time.
keeping the, Richard, the new law, so that,
Requiring medical help. And that.
I don't think anybody knows whether it's good or not good until everyone gets to spend some time up there and see it with 20 people in the room, with 40 people in the room, with 50 people in the room.
Exactly.
So anyways, they're gonna, he's gonna present another thing. I didn't realize this was gonna be, a full presentation, which I thought we were gonna do at town meeting, which we will do again, visit again. Joe?
Now, we make the town meeting not on a Friday night, November seventh is a Friday. And some people observe Shabbat, some people have social plans.
Okay, and that, we'll take that point, thank you.
Sorry, Rob, just one quick question.
No.
Since you have most of the membership here and on Zoom, just suggesting that maybe you might want to do an informal, non-binding vote right now.
No.
Or you, I'm just throwing out a suggestion.
No,
Informal,
because
temperature of the room.
people that have been up there since, they got used to it on the second day, third day, it is a matter of spending some time in that room.
Appreciate the perspective on it. But I think, guys, hold on. Before we start conversations, hold on. So, we, at Robin's request, we started this ad hoc committee, which we're calling the Rec Room Renovation Committee.
She's a doll.
And
Very
the
nice.
point is not to
She liked.
divide the membership. The point is to come up with something that has the aesthetic that most of the membership will appreciate. Whether they like having a bar, don't like having a bar, what they like to do in the rec room.
It's still
And the point
going
of
on.
these two options is to get something usable
2.5
before the
hours
ski
now, the
season,
meeting.
because actually
Yeah, a
to
lot of
finish the
people-
new bar in place, would take a lot more money and a lot more time. But the point I'm trying to make, Robin, is that whatever proposal that you mentioned, the rec room committee should actually be involved in that.
Sorry, we are the board, we were elected.
I'm not the board, I'm not asking to be the board.
I know, so
I'm trying to speak for the
Very, very.
membership of the club.
you're saying that you should Yeah, I have a motion to adjourn. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry, Gail.
Just a quick thing, when we do adjourn, the first, I'd say 4 rows stay where they are. The chairs in the first 4 rows, because there were several rows here, just the chairs behind it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Anything behind Steve Templeton? Take that. Do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Amen.
Good to have the video. Walk up thing, hopefully.
And a big thank you to Tom Fleming for running.